Hey guys, Brian Anderson here at SHOT Show in Las Vegas. You're welcome to another edition of the March Home, and I'm here with Anthony Pace, the founder and director of Freedom Hunters out of Colorado.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about Freedom Hunters. What do you guys do?
Well, we're a military outreach program. We take service members and their families on hunting, shooting, fishing trips, both nationally and internationally.
Okay.
They're normally outings for individuals or for groups. And we've taken as many as 50 to 100 on fishing type trips.
Together or single?
Together.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
50 to 100 guys on one fishing trip or one hunting trip?
Those are like day outings.
Yeah.
Ponds, and we'll have fishing beforehand, lunch, and then fishing again, then everybody goes home.
Yeah.
And then we've gone as extreme as backcountry elk hunting, wolf hunting in Alberta.
So wait a second, where do you do backcountry wolf hunting?
Well, backcountry elk hunting.
Oh, backcountry elk hunting. Excuse me. Where do you do that at?
Colorado is the main thing. Idaho, we've done it there.
Yeah.
And as well as Idaho, Idaho. So.
When you say backcountry hunting, like what does it mean? Are the guys camping out there for a period of time, or how does that work?
Well, it's those in particular with outfitters.
Okay.
So the outfitter will have a base camp, and then they horse back out to the main camp, the base camp, and then they'll horse back out on the daily hunts.
So you cover for a veteran to go on a hunting trip with a guide that they're horseback riding around to different places and actually set up the hunt?
Yeah, it's amazing. And these are that particular one I'm talking about was with Capitol Peak Outfitters.
Yeah.
They're an outfitter based out of Rifle, Colorado, and he donates the hunt 100%. So
wow.
He'll normally take one or two veterans a year, and it's the guys show up, he feeds them and houses them, and then takes them out on horseback for after elk.
So the guys, like, how do veterans qualify? Who qualifies? Is it military personnel? Is it what do they have to be?
Pretty much at combat related veterans and active duty as far as that goes. If they're discharged, honorably discharged.
Yep.
Really veterans of all eras. We had an elk hunt down in New Mexico. It was a cow elk hunt, and it's more of an elk killing trip than a hunting trip.
Yeah.
We go on a big ranch, Ted Turner's Bermejo Park Ranch.
Oh wow!
We had 10 veterans on that hunt. Three of them were Vietnam veterans.
Oh wow! Okay.
So one double amputee.
So it doesn't matter their generation.
No, it doesn't matter generation. They served.
Yeah.
As long as we try to get guys that were in combat situations.
So you have hunts that are going off in Colorado, but it's not just Colorado. You have that in New Mexico. You have various other places that you're going to.
Yeah.
But I heard you say something about international hunts.
Yeah, we did. Last year we had an outfitter donate 4 wolf hunts in Alberta.
Wow.
We do a bear hunt annually in British Columbia. And
a bear hunt, is that during the winter time, or when is that?
No, it's in the spring.
It's in the springtime?
Spring bear hunt, yeah.
Wow.
So they, I'm trying to think of the name of the outfitter up there. But basically, they go up there, stay for a week, stay in cabins, and then daily go out and drive around scouting for bears.
That seems like it's a pretty awesome program. Like, how many hunts are you doing a year, and how long does it usually, if a guy finds out about your program, they sign up, how long does it take for them to get registered for a hunt or approved for a hunt?
Well, a lot of it depends on the hunt in particular. Sometimes we'll have particular outfitters or landowners or guides. They want to take a specific guy, and we try to find guys that are logistically close to the hunt.
Yep.
And obviously, if we're doing British Columbia or Alberta, you're having to fly guys in. But we try to find guys that can drive into the hunt, especially if it's a meat hunt. Then it's a whole lot easier to pack a cooler and send them in the car back home.
So you guys have been doing this in a lot of different places, and you're looking to grow into other areas as well. Like for businesses out there and people that are interested in getting guys out and enjoying the wilderness, going out for a hunt, what do they need to do to reach out to you to try and support?
Well, you can always reach us on our website. We've got an email right there, info@freedomhunters.org, or give us a call. We've done everything from prairie dog hunts, to, again, backcountry elk hunts. So it really doesn't matter the adventure. It could be a half-day fishing. So
what kind of got you into this? Because you're the founder and director of it. Like, what made you want to do this?
I wanted to do something to give back. There were other people out there, doing things for the veterans, and it's like, why not me?
Yeah.
So started it, kind of slowly built, and now I've got volunteers from California to Virginia.
Wow.
That, offer up their time and their expertise, and it's neat because each volunteer has their own specialty. I've got guys that are avid waterfowl hunters. I've got guys that are avid fly fishermen. So the program really builds around the volunteer and the opportunities that come our way. Some of them it just amazes you.
That's pretty awesome. So 2018, this is the beginning of your year. And you started your year out the last 7 years with SHOT Show.
Yes. Yeah.
So what's the goals for 2018 in Freedom Hunters?
Well, we want to continue to grow. We get applications in every day from veterans, and we probably get anywhere between 5 to 15 applications per day.
Wow.
Guys that want to go out, and we've just, even though we're doing 12 to 1,300 veterans on outings every year, we are still trying to create more opportunities in different parts of the country. And again, it doesn't matter what it is. The guys just want an opportunity to get out, and you can see them change from when they arrive to when they leave. You
know what, Brandon Bailey, I'm just calling your name out because you're an awesome guy. I know you're in Kentucky, and I think I need to connect you with Freedom Hunters. Brandon is a MARSOC guy. He got into an accident a couple years ago. I look forward to telling his story at some point. But it was while he was deployed. He got twisted in half. They told him he was never going to walk again. He was playing golf with me in Ireland.
Wow.
And now he takes guys out on hunts in Kentucky. So there's a lot of warriors that have the same idea and wants to take their brothers out into the woods, hunt, kind of be a part of that whole environment. And it's therapeutic in ways. Have you seen that?
Oh, huge. Yeah, we've seen it big time. And there's guys that we've had on outings that, they seem normal. Everything seems fine with them, happy guys. And then months later, we'll have them come back and say, hey, you saved my life. And I was the guy that was sitting at home on the couch with a pistol underneath the pillow.
And that's just needing to get away.
Yeah, it is.
Just needing to get away.
A lot of times, unfortunately, if they're wounded, they're active duty outdoor guys that want to be outdoors, and that's why they chose that career. And then to suddenly feel like they can't get outdoors, they can't do things. Just a chance to show them, you still can get outdoors.
Yeah.
It may be different. You may not be able to go like you used to, but there's still ways for you to get outdoors and enjoy it. And then when we've got groups together, the camaraderie and sharing stories, it's like, they learn they're not the only ones in that same situation. And a lot of times guys come out of there with new friends in different areas and start creating new opportunities themselves.
I think it's something I'm a big proponent of is alternative treatment options for veterans, right?
Absolutely.
And this is another type of outdoor recreational sport. It might not be counseling, right? But you can't say it's not therapeutic.
Oh, absolutely not.
And you can't say it's not a lesson in self-care, because this is a pretty big lesson in self-care. Guys are going out there and they're saying, okay, this is a hobby that I can buy into.
Yeah.
So have you seen that where guys, they go out on a hunt and next thing you know, they're addicted to hunting and they're going out on their own? Have you heard those stories?
Oh, yeah. Bud sent a guy to Missouri on a duck hunt. When he talked to him beforehand, it was yes sir, no sir, 3 or 4 word answers and he was real apprehensive about going. He had PTSD, was real upset. He hadn't been around guns or gunfire, and so he wasn't sure how he was going to handle it personally.
Just telling you this, that was my story actually too. When I got back from my last deployment, I didn't fire a gun for about 4 years. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of warriors that come back with that same thing. They fired with a purpose for so long that afterwards it's hard to get behind the trigger. Yeah, I understand it. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I just thought of that.
Yeah, and so once he got on the hunt, Bud said, if you don't feel like shooting, don't shoot.
Yeah.
He said, just get out there, enjoy the sunrise, hear the birds coming over your head, the whistling wings as they land on the pond. Just enjoy it being out there. He got out there, loved it, was able to overcome his fears of firing a shotgun. Came home, the conversation, he talked to Bud for an hour and a half on the way home.
Wow.
It's that powerful.
It's amazing because I know there's been a couple of times where I've been inside a stand, and what do you do inside a stand? Sometimes you take a nap, and that's what I did. Is I took a nap. I woke up and there was a hawk on a tree branch 20 feet in front of me, just sitting there watching me while I was sleeping. And I think that was probably one of the coolest things, is seeing that and just having that experience. You're just kind of connected to the nature,
absolutely,
to the world around you, and you can't do anything but turn off.
And it does. It's something about Mother Nature. We've had guys who've been on 30 different medications, and they get outdoors and they start to heal their own bodies just by being out in nature, and it's amazing to watch the change as it happens.
So veterans are able to sign up on your website. You have an application process on there. Is that what it is?
Yes,
okay.
we do.
And do they have to is there any documents or anything like that they have to upload or anything?
No, not at. We'll ask for DD-214s afterwards if we select them, but it's a simple application. Name, address. We like to know a little bit about your military background, but you don't have to get into harsh details. And a little bit about your hunting outdoor background. And then we can try to pick guys. A lot of guys will say, hey, I've always wanted to do this. And if we can, we try to get them that direction. But if not, it's just a matter of getting them out on something. And
so let me ask you this, because there's a lot of guys, and I think that I have a lot of friends that fall into this bout. Like they're combat veterans, they got out, they have a job, they're semi-successful, but they're not doing the best in the world. Does it matter that they're earning a paycheck? Does it matter? Like, the benefit is for all warriors that have served in combat, regardless of generation. So guys shouldn't be afraid to sign up for a program.
No, and a guy shouldn't worry. We've heard this a lot, where a guy feels like he shouldn't apply because there's somebody else out there
who needs it, who deserves it more. You veterans, you do that all the time.
But that's not the case. Again, there are opportunities where we take mobility impaired people on hunts, but there's other hunts where we just need guys. And if you're in the right logistic area, then it's great.
That's absolutely awesome program. Freedom Hunters. You can go to your website. It's freedomhunters.org. Freedomhunters.org. Check it out. They've got the applications on there. Only thing you need to provide after that is a DD-214. If you get selected, they match you up to a hunt. Great program. They've been out here at SHOT Show for 8 years now?
7, 8 years.
That's crazy. And they've been in the industry for a while. Awesome organization, guys. Sign up, freedomhunters.org. Wait until the next episode of the March Home. We got another segment coming up after this. We're at the SHOT Show convention in Las Vegas, Nevada. Awesome time. Great programs like this out here. We'll see you in a second.
Hey there, it's Andrew Campanella with School Choice Week, and I am really excited for a special event here in my home state of Florida. It's called Celebrate Youth, and it's taking place on January 27th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Pasco County Safety Town. It's a community-based School Choice Week event, and so many folks all across the community are working hard to put together an exciting event for everybody. There's going to be rock climbing, a petting zoo, a bouncy house, food vendors, and special guests like House Speaker Richard Corcoran. So it's free family fun for everybody, and I hope you'll attend Celebrate Youth, January 27th from 10 to 2 at Pasco County Safety Town.
Welcome to the March Home. We're still out here at SHOT Show, and I'm definitely lucky to have Trae Johnson from Ares Firearms. So Trae has been part of the Veterans Alternative family since the very beginning.
Oh yes, it's been a while.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long road.
We spent a lot of time up at your range firing, and you've spent a lot of time down at the organization doing some of the things that we have, some of the modalities that we have. So talk to us first of all a little bit about your range and some of the veteran outreach that you do up there.
We have a range in Leesburg, Florida. It's a 100-acre range. We have 900, 500-yard ranges. We do multiple different kinds of classes. Also bring in veterans to help teach the classes, to help them assimilate better into society.
You got Jay coming down, Jay Stratton, 82nd Airborne Division veteran, now instead of National Guard and a medic. He's doing a med course this weekend, isn't he?
Yeah, we're doing a combat medic course this weekend, so it'll be a lot of fun.
That's pretty
why
awesome.
I'm flying back early from shot so I can have a little fun with everybody.
And so you constantly have these. I see you have veterans teaching sniper training and things like that. What is it that they bring to the table?
Well, they bring their skills as a military personnel to the table, so it kind of gives the civilian or military or law enforcement a different outlook. They have the experience, so they're able to talk to the people that they're dealing with about actual experiences. So when you have someone who has knowledge base like that, they're able to impart that knowledge on the person who may never ever see any kind of combat, but if they do, at least they have some kind of inkling of what they're getting into.
So we've gone out to the range a few times, and you have a habit of bringing guns to the range.
Yeah, a few guns.
And the first time we went out there, he was like, Trae said, Brian, I've got you taken care of. We show up there with a couple of veterans. You had over 100 guns laid out.
Yeah, that's correct.
So
And a flamethrower.
So this and a flamethrower and some tannerite.
Yes.
So you always making sure warriors have a good time when they go out there.
Of course, we got to take care of our guys, take care of our veterans.
Now you served in the military too.
Yes, that's correct.
What'd you do?
I was combat search and rescue in the Navy.
Combat search and rescue. Tell me about your job. What does that entail?
Somebody gets shot down, we go in the water and get them. Get chased by sharks, try not to get eaten, all the fun things. I was also a door gunner, so that was pretty obvious that I would shoot on 50 cal machine gun, things like that.
Do you, so you were scuba qualified back in the Navy then?
Yeah, but I was already before that, and scuba didn't really play a part into ours. We were mainly mask and fins and wetsuits. You just go straight out of the helicopter into the water.
Wow. So what was those experiences like?
Cold.
Cold.
Yeah, very cold.
Where'd you serve out of?
I served out of HC6 out of Norfolk.
Norfolk, Virginia.
Yeah.
Hello. I would imagine those waters are cold over there.
Well, yeah, it wasn't as bad as when I trained in San Diego in the Pacific. That was a little bit colder over there, so it was a lot of fun.
Man. So you left the military. When did you leave the military?
98.
98. And so you went into the civilian world. What did you start out with? What was that transition like, leaving the military and starting your career?
I did what the normal military personnel do. I got out, and I regretted getting out, which is common. But obviously at the time I made the decision, it was important to me to get out, so I can't second guess that. I did multiple smaller, cheaper jobs just to try to make ends meet. There was really no transition back to the civilian world for me.
Yeah.
I mean, they had some classes, things like that, but I was pretty much, you got out of the Navy, have a nice day, and I was sent back to home. I drove back home, and I stayed with my mom for about 3 months until I could afford to get an apartment, and then I worked 2 jobs to try to support myself. I had no health insurance, things like that, but it was pretty rigorous for a long time.
So now you own your own plane, you fly around.
Yep.
You've got a decent business, a range that's growing.
Yes.
But there's something else that you do, and obviously we just talked about the veterans and how you get those guys out there. But like when there's different events going on, you go out there and participate in helping with search and rescue and just getting cities. So where did you go this year? Was that New Orleans? Was it for Irma?
I'm sorry, it was Houston. Yes,
it was Houston for her Irma, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Tell me what that was like. What was that experience, and why do you do things like that?
Well, if we're not helping people out, why are we even here in the first place?
Yeah.
So I'd been going through a rough time with my family. Nothing serious, but just things we had to deal with. And I had a little time off, and I told my wife I didn't realize that the hurricane had been in Houston area for 5 or 6 days hovering around.
Yeah.
And we saw things on TV, and I said, you know what? That's what I did in the military. I got in my truck and grabbed my boat and went over there and started helping people out. And I actually contacted the Cajun Navy, so they tasked me to a guy that helped me get put in the area versus just showing up.
Yeah.
And I went from there. I ate a lot of peanuts and drank a lot of water.
So warriors are able to kind of do things like that. You got attached to somebody. If someone wanted to do that, they see a natural disaster, they want to get involved. what's the first thing they should do? What should they do?
I contacted a civilian organization. I had actually made phone calls to the law enforcement community. Of course, they're overwhelmed with swamps, so and they have 100,000 people calling them also. So I really became just like everybody else. So I kind of got pushed to the side. Tried to deal with the government. Nope, that again, they're swamped. They're dealing with all that. I contacted the Navy, the civilian organization that had raised huge amounts of relief aid, and then they were able to go, okay, these areas we are deficient in personnel, we're going to send you here. Call this gentleman. He is the main contact for that area. Call him, give him a little bit of my background. He says, okay, I'm going to send you here. I showed up. I built a 6-man team based off of guys that were there. They had no experience, so we did a crash course in learning how to deal with certain things, and then we went from there. And my military background helped out a lot because I'd already done things like this before.
That's pretty awesome. And did you guys, because I think when you're telling me this, it makes me think of Team Rubicon, because they do little things like that.
Yes.
Did you run into any of those guys out there? Are they?
I could have, but people pass and go. You're really concentrating on your objective at the time. We had dispatch, and they would task us with different groups. So I was the leader of the group, but I was not the comms guy. The comms guy would task us with a location, and then we had a navigator. He would navigate the route to make sure we didn't get stuck in water, and I would review what they had done and go, okay, that's good, and then we would go from there.
So it was basically military planning that you were doing for helping folks out. That's an awesome process, man. There's a lot of guys that want to still give back and help. Yeah. So can you tell me a little bit about, you talked a little bit about the transition. Now you're at SHOT Show. You run an arms dealership or arms range, a shooting range, but you also deal with arms and so forth. What is it about SHOT Show that's good for you and for your business?
Well, I make a lot of contacts. I'm able to see new products on the floor that I wouldn't normally get to touch. To be honest with you, I have a lot of friends in the industry, and some of them live in California, some of them live other places. It's kind of nice to get to see them every once in a while and catch up, and we talk about different stuff, and they have hey, I have a new contact, let me introduce you to this guy, or vice versa. So it's really nice to catch up. Of course, I get to see Brian Anderson, a hero here, and Amy, so it's always a good thing.
And how often do you get to see us in Florida, right?
Never. I try to stay as far away. No, I'm just kidding. I see these guys constantly, but it's a little bit more relaxed here because you're not always dealing with the center here.
Yeah. And now, how many years have you been coming to SHOT Show?
The first year it went from Orlando back to Vegas, and I do think that was 09, but it might be 08. I'm sorry, I don't recall.
So SHOT Show used to be in Orlando?
Yeah, they would alternate between Orlando and Vegas. The last year they did in Orlando, the next year I went to Vegas, and I've been here ever since.
No kidding. Are they coming back to Orlando ever?
I hope not.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You like Vegas better?
I like getting out of town for a little bit. This convention center is a lot bigger. There's more things to do here. I mean, I live in Orlando, so what am I going to do? Go to Disney World, SeaWorld, which I've already been to, so this is a change of pace for me.
Yeah.
And there's more bumps here. There's more crime here, so I really enjoy seeing all those things. The tent cities, everything as we drive along. I like paying $16 for one can of Coke. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
A Fiji bottle of water inside the Bellagio is $18. Don't let it move from the center.
It's 25 cents for Cuba Ice, man. You can't beat it here.
That's awesome. No, SHOT Show is what I've seen. The relationships are really great. They help out a lot. And guys that want to go into the industry, is this a must for them to kind of go to? It's a great place where they can actually interact and become possible reps for different organizations.
Yeah, it's a great way to get in and talk. I mean, first time I came here, I just came here. We had FFL. We just came here. I didn't know anybody. Just started talking to guys. Trying to find commonality. When we reached that guy that I had a commonality with, we just started talking, and we went from there. But I already built the relationship up. I got his card, got his information. We'd email, talk, call, and then we just built the relationship from there. And it's a great way to integrate yourself back into society because there is both military, law enforcement, and other things.
So when you talk about your military experience, you've gone through accelerated resolution therapy. You've gone through that practice. What is ART to you?
It's a good night's sleep and a peace of mind.
A good night's sleep and a peace of mind. So that's the main modality we do at the Veterans Alternative. You've seen it help other warriors?
Yes, several personally. Guys that we have that commonality with because they have to go through the same thing that I have to go through. And then for me to actually share my experience with them, and at first you're kind of like, well, really does it, I was very hesitant with you until I met you, and we clicked because you had gone through some stuff, and then for you to impart your knowledge onto me, telling me what it had done for you, and then of course, the other people that I dealt with, I said, what can it hurt?
Yeah.
And I'd been lugging stuff around for a very long time, so yeah, it was an interesting release of personal weights, I guess is probably a good word.
So what's really cool is we just did a commercial not too long ago, and we're going to roll it out soon. As a matter of fact, once we get off air, I'm going to show it to Trae. But at some point, I'm going to have it out there, and maybe it'll be the same time this episode airs. We'll see. But it's a show that we filmed a portion of it at Trae's range.
Yes, that's correct.
And it's dealing with accelerated resolution therapy and showing the power that therapy has. If you guys ever want to try it, Trae, another veteran who's gone through the program, ART is something that saves warriors' lives, and the Veterans Alternative covers all that for you. We're here at the SHOT Show. We've got a couple more interviews going, walking around. Trae, thank you so much for being on the show.
You're welcome, Brian.
I really appreciate it, and we'll see you in the next segment of the March Home.